Hello, this is Random Palk, and today we're reviewing Flash Hiders on the PC Engine. This is kind of a fighting game where you have the advanced mode, the scenario mode, and the versus mode. But for this time, we're going to check out the scenario mode. You pretty much know what the versus mode is and what the fucking, you pretty much can tell the difference in the modes just by hearing their titles. But in scenario mode, you actually get a story and shit, kind of like the Sword Edge mode or whatever in fucking Soul Blade. But it's a fighting game with various modes with different characters, and it's kind of interesting because it's on the PC Engine, which of course was competing with the Super Nintendo and shit. And this was kind of like one of their Street Fighter type styles. Of course, it's not in English, but you could tell they put in some reasonably graphic anime cutscenes and shit, which would give you some backstory if I could speak the language. But yeah, we could skip all this and get to the game itself. So let's skip it and get into the game itself. More story parts. There are a lot of story parts in the scenario mode. I guess it introduces all the fighters. As you can see, there are different weapons, armors, and tools and shit you can buy in this mode to improve your abilities. Which is interesting that the story mode gives you some capabilities for your fighters. And once you choose everything, you can proceed to the battle. And this first battle seems to be kind of automated. It doesn't seem like I'm actually doing anything. That's fucked up. Yeah, what the fuck? Doesn't even feel like I'm controlling it. Apparently his name is Bang. He was battling Otto. Yeah, I'm not even doing anything. This is like auto mode. It's not even doing anything. What the fuck is up with that? I thought the buttons weren't reacting correctly. Yeah. Are all the story battles automated? Because if all the story battles are automated, that's kind of... Anyway, we're going to redo it because I wasn't even able to do anything. So let's start over. Let's try classic versus mode. See if we can actually play some characters and actually be allowed to do something. Scenario mode, it seemed like it was mostly auto battle. So let's go to versus mode, versus com, and actually try to play this game. Because that was fucked up. Anyway, you can see there are 9 characters to pick from. And of course, if you're playing 2-player, you can battle 2-player. I don't know any of the characters, so we're just going to pick one at random. Spinoza. Oh, wait, no. Now we pick the computer. I guess Tyria. Oh, you get a certain number of points you can distribute. That's interesting. You can distribute offense, defense, and speed. Alright. That's an interesting aspect on these tournament fighters, distributing points to your stats. And I guess we can add points to their shit too. Alright, we'll give them that, I guess. And here we go. We're going to actually try to play the game for a change. Of course, I don't know. Of course, I don't know any of the moves. That's a major disadvantage, is I don't know the fucking moves. Like that Ninja Turtles fighter on Nintendo, I just gotta kind of fuck around and try to learn the moves to see if they're anything basic or if they're something convoluted. So I apologize. In this first couple fights, I'm probably going to get my ass kicked. I don't know the moves to this game. Yeah, if you ever play Street Fighter, there's normally a combination of attacks that give you a slight advantage. The jump kick trip technique normally works in these fighting games if you do it fast enough. It's something I learned from playing Street Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo. If you attack fast enough, there is a jump kick trip technique that normally works. And if you get in the right rhythm, you can defeat almost anyone with this technique. But if you fuck it up, they get a free hit on you. But yeah, it's normally a technique that works in Street Fighter, and apparently it works in this game too. So even if you don't know what the fuck you're doing, you could try the jump kick trip technique. It tends to work most of the time. Anyway, let's pick another character. Let's pick her. And I guess fight against someone else just to vary it up. And once again, I guess you get to pick your stats. So we'll do that. And just to make it fair, we'll give him defense. And let's try this team out and see how we do with this. Oh, I had that weird spin move, whatever that does. At least I learned one of her abilities. There's that weird slide move I just did. I thought I was doing something there, but I guess not. Well, like I said, even if you don't know the moves to a game, alright, I learned that slide move. So that's nice to know. But on these early fighting games, the jump kick trip strategy normally is very effective. So even on a fighting game, if you're unfamiliar with the moves, that's always a nice strategy to do. Because, yeah, like I said, it's very effective. And not a bad way to do it. But if you don't have the right timing, it will fuck up. But if you do it right, as you can see, it's very effective on these old school fighting games. Street Fighter, all these games, if you do the moves correctly, it's actually quite easy to do. But yeah, not a bad fighting game. I've played worse. I played worse fighting games for the PC Engine. It's a pretty good game. I like it so far. Let's give them power this time. And yeah, it's not a terrible game. I played worse. But yeah, it's a pretty basic fighting game. Uh, her kick at the bottom is pretty bad, so she might not be able to use. And this character is pretty tough. Alright, there's that broom ride skill I just learned. What the hell was that I just did? I just got my ass slapped there. And what was... I don't know. Man, this character's moves are a little bit weird. Alright, I learned that. So she has a kind of Hadouken ability. So I learned that. Yeah, sometimes just sticking around on these games, you can learn shit. Alright, yeah. She can shoot the tornadoes up. What the fuck? She's cheap as hell. Almost feels like I'm playing Street Fighter at this rate. Alright, you take that. Yeah, take that shit. I'm starting to learn some of these. I'm starting to learn some of these moves because you're giving me time. Oh, I'm frozen. God damn it, I was starting to learn some of her moves. Hey, but apparently she kicked my ass, so that was that. Hey, Flash Hiders for the PC Engine. An interesting game with various characters. Let's do one last battle. An interesting game with a little bit of unique stuff like setting up your stats and shit. Not terrible. It's a mediocre fighting game, but it's not bad. Now some big ass samurai guy. Alright, I'm learning some of his moves. Yeah, I learned that. Right now it feels almost like fucking Soul Blade 2D. Because that chick reminds me of Sung Mina. And this R-Hulk guy kind of makes me think of Mitsurugi. So this is almost like 2D Soul Blade. Yeah, it is almost like 2D Soul Blade right now. Yeah, even her moves are similar to Sung Mina's, her flying staff shit. Of course, like I said, if you're fucking having a hard time, you can just go to the jump kick trip technique and win. So you can always do the jump kick trick technique on these old school fighting games to win if you're having a hard time. Well, yeah, that's Flash Hiders on the PC Engine. Not a bad fighting game. Story mode is kind of fucked up because it seemed like the first couple battles looked like they were automated, which is weird. But yeah, there's 3 play modes. The only mode I didn't check. Let's check out the only play mode I didn't check before we end this. The only play mode we didn't check was the advanced mode. So let's check out advanced mode because we're going to end this soon. Here you can see the characters by their ratings, which is interesting. So we'll pick her because she has an A rating of speed. Then you can check your rank. So wow, there are a lot of fucking difficulties for this. So we're going to stick with normal for curiosity. And once again, it's not a translated game, so unless you were in Japan, you wouldn't know what this game is. So, no text, just unless you can read Japanese. I guess you can only pick certain guys at the start. Well, we hadn't seen this guy yet, so let's see what Harmon can do. Alright, once again, you get a skill sheet that you can do stuff with. Well, let's try this version out. Wait, what? The controls are different. I can only use certain buttons. What the hell's going on? I can't control the guy again. What the fuck? Am I setting it on auto battle or something? Well, I don't know. That guy's some kind of jet boot commando ninja. Well, anyway, that's Flash Hiders for PC Engine. Not a terrible game, but I can't understand the shit that's going on because half the time I can't seem to control the character. So if I'm setting it on auto battle, I don't know how I'm doing it because I do not read or speak Japanese. But Flash Hiders for PC Engine, not a bad game. If I had it when I was a kid, I'd probably know more about it. And it looked like it would be kind of fun to play. It is a lot like Street Fighter, but there are some weird variations to it. And the moves are not as predictable. But overall, it's a playable game. And if you like fighting games, it's worth checking out. I'm going to end this one here. Graphics, music, everything on this game are pretty good. But if you like my videos, please follow and subscribe. I'll have more videos coming out in the near future. Well, I'm going to end this one here. Yeah, check it out. Not a bad game. If you like fighting games, it's pretty good. I'll see you in the next episode, and hopefully y'all have a good night. Weekend's coming up, so hopefully you enjoy it. So until then, take it easy. I'll see you next time. Have a